What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Konquer Fit Podcast once again. I know we've been on a little hiatus. Once again, my name is Chad Kratz. This is Mr. Jeff Brandt. We are coming to you guys live on a Sunday afternoon, almost evening here.
Beautiful Sunday.
And today we're going to talk about how to mediate your fitness journey while traveling.
Yeah, very important.
So I don't know if I've mentioned this on the last one. So I just got done traveling for a few days. Went down to Orlando and went to MegaCon for 4 days.
Damn nerd.
Super nerdy, but super awesome all at the same time. But no, when you're traveling, that's kind of the thing, right? When we think about the fitness journey in general, there's a lot of things that can hiccup that journey. Mm-hmm. If we think of traveling, but there's so many things that can happen, right?
Yeah.
Work schedule changes. So really talking about traveling and anything, life is always going to happen, mm-hmm. right? So how do we mediate keeping ourselves healthy during that, right?
Yeah. No, absolutely.
You got travel coming up.
Yeah. We're going to be traveling potentially down to Gulf Shores.
Yep.
We try to go every year. It's one of our favorite spots. Chad's always giving me a hard time because when people in the gym are talking about travel, I'm like, hey, have you hit this restaurant? Have you gone to this place?
He knows everywhere.
Because I know all the places.
He's like, did you get the extra bacon bits? And I'm like, don't tell him that, man. Like, we're not trying to do that.
You don't get up to 410 pounds by not exploring, right?
This is true, because you dip syrup and syrup.
Syrup and syrup. But I think, what you said, and we're going to key on that, is like, life happens. It is what it is. And I've always used the phrase like, oh, calories don't count on vacation. Well, that's a lie. They do, right? They always count.
They always count.
Yeah.
I mean, but you're still allowed to live.
You have to live. And so I think the mantra that my wife and I have developed while we travel is it can't be more than one bad meal in a row.
Yeah.
Right? And so even when we went out and saw my brother Ed over Christmas, we looked at, all right, we're going to do a breakfast, we're going to do a lunch and a dinner. And so it was normally dinner is where we would splurge, right?
Sure.
And even then, looking over the menu to make sure, like, all right, this isn't 1,000 calories, it's 600 calories, so I should be okay. I'm still working out while I'm there. It's active.
Yeah.
But it's making sure that I'm not having, 1,000 calories at each meal, and it's all just.
And I would say more so not 1,000. Maybe not 1,000 calories of empty calories, right?
Empty calories.
Let's maybe not eat 1,000 calories of cheese.
Yeah, a little bit of protein, right?
Like, let's make sure there's at least something in there that our body needs to sustain. But no, you got to have those, what we call them as quote-unquote cheat meals. You got to have those. I mean, it's for sanity purposes, right? But everything in moderation. The other big thing about traveling is, generally speaking, I don't know how you've been in the past, but I know more recently when you travel, we've talked about this, is how do you work out?
Yeah.
Right? So most of the time, you're probably generally staying in a hotel. Most of the time. Now, there's still Airbnbs. There's still, outside places that you can stay. You might be staying with a friend or a family member. In that case, I think it's always great. What I've done in the past is I just look up local gyms and call them. Mm-hmm. Hey, man, I'm a personal trainer. I'm traveling to the area. Probably going to be using your gym. What's a week pass cost?
Yeah.
I can honestly tell you, most of the time, you generally don't pay a full week pass anyway. Because they understand you don't live there.
Yep.
So they're like, this dude's traveling, he might come twice. Hey man, just pay the day pass, you can come for the rest of the week. We'll give you a punch card. Cool, man, no problem. But for the most part, if I have a hotel gyms generally have just the basic amount of equipment for you to still get a decent workout.
And even outside of that, like if you don't even want to, if you're staying with a friend, you're not staying in a hotel, and you don't want to get that gym pass, do some body weight.
Do some body weight.
Yep.
Yeah, push-ups, squats go a long way.
Yep.
Some bench dips.
Absolutely, man.
Find a bar to pull on and do some pull-ups. So yeah, I mean, there's always ways to modify, condense, change up things so you can still get some good movement. Because ultimately, that's what we want, right? We want the movement, right? Me taking 4 days off from lifting heavy barbells is not going to hurt my muscle growth.
Yeah.
If anything, it's going to help it. It's going to give me that time to have a break.
But that's the mindset that people get in. It's like, if I miss this day at the gym, and I was historically that person, and it's like, if you don't go 6 days a week, you're not going to see the gains, right?
Yeah.
So, and it's realizing that it's okay to have that rest and relaxation while you're on vacation. Maybe it's not the heavy stuff.
Yeah, I mean, and again, I would think about that. My wedding, we were gone for 9 days.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm not going to miss 9 days of working out. For me, it's become such an ingrained part of my lifestyle. I'm just not going to miss 9 days.
Yeah.
But on the flip side of that, I think the thing I like to kind of express to a lot of people is like, figure out what your non-negotiable is, right? And that goes hand in hand with traveling. There's a birthday party. There's a bar mitzvah. It doesn't matter what it is.
Mm-hmm.
My non-negotiable is I'm working out at this time or around this time every day.
Yeah.
It's non-negotiable. If the party starts at 5:30 and my workout time is 5, I'll see you guys at 6:30. I'm not going to be there to open the doors. I'm sorry. But it's non-negotiable. And, I think if you can do that, it creates a barrier, let's say, for you to not make excuses and then all of a sudden now you've missed 6 days of working out.
Yeah.
Right? Just because life happened. Hopefully travel happens in your life. I would hope everybody gets to see this big, beautiful planet we live on and actually go see some of these really awesome places in the world. But let's do it to where, we're still being mindful of our health as well.
Yeah, I mean, what you just said resonates because if you're going on vacation and your non-negotiable is like, I'm going to walk 12,000 steps a day, right?
Yeah.
Maybe you're not getting into the gym, but you're getting your steps in, you're getting your heart rate up a little bit, right? So you don't feel bad that you're not missing gym. And if you don't have that non-negotiable, maybe it's like, I'm just going to enjoy vacation. I sat around on vacation, ate a bunch of food, drank a bunch of beer, whatever it was, and I get back from vacation. It's like, man, that was really easy to not go to the gym.
Really easy.
To not get my steps in. And the next thing I know, it's been 3 weeks, and it's like, yeah, I guess maybe I didn't really need it, which you and I are going to argue you do need it, right?
I would argue that most health professionals at this point and most health-minded people would argue that you do need it at this point.
Yeah, 100%.
Not only for the physiological and physical effects of it, but for the mental. I mean, this really keeps me sane for the most part.
Especially, we live in frickin' the Midwest. We're in Iowa. Our winter months suck, right? So,
definitely.
We look forward to our vacations because it's where we can get away from the cold and the wind and whatnot. But I think you're absolutely right. If you can set those non-negotiables and just have that in your mind that, hey, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. That way when you get back, you haven't missed step per se, and you're able to get back into it, and it was just easy to sit around on the couch and do nothing.
Right. I mean, it's staying on routine.
Mm-hmm.
And this from the time that you've known me, is I'm very much a creature of habit.
Yep.
My habits generally day to day are
always
all
the
same.
Asshole.
Yes. If that's not a thing in your life, maybe that should be your non-negotiable. Always be an asshole. But no, man.
I was going to say always have an asshole, but it's going to come out wrong. So.
That's weird, man.
Anyways.
You can find Jeff at www.feetfinder.com. But no, man. I mean, I think it's finding a routine that works for you and then never really getting off that routine. Now, yes, you should deviate from routine every once in a while just for leisurely purposes.
All the chest presses in the world, Chad.
All the chest presses in the world. All of them. You upside down Dorito. Bam. But no, I mean, realistically, if we're talking about health for the average person, and someone who is just trying to stay consistent, and I mean, let's say they've already lost a bunch of weight. The only way to keep that weight off is to stay consistent in your routine.
Yeah.
No matter what you're doing, right? So it has to become part of your lifestyle, and it has to be integral to your life. If it isn't, then you're never going to stick to it even on a normal basis, right? As I tell most people, dude, I can get you in the door. And once you're in the door, you got to do something. You're here. But then what about that day I can't get you in the door?
Exactly.
And then it goes for a week, and then a month, and then 2 months, and then 3 months.
You have to have the willpower.
You have to have the willpower, and you have to, be willing to, unfortunately, let some things go. Mm-hmm. You have to. I mean, there's plenty of things that, I could say that I probably would want to do, but if it falls in between a day of training at that time, I'm probably not going to do it.
Yeah, and I think you also have to be realistic with yourself, though, too. And I know we started this topic on vacation, and this is the same, it rolls into that, but we all have the same 24 hours, right?
Yeah.
You and I have the exact same amount of time every day. It depends on what I do with that. So, and you and I are recently talking about a couple of cats that were saying, oh, I don't have time. It's like, well, no, you do have time. You don't want to make time for it. And I think you have to, because I was historically a 2 to 3 hour a day gym person, right?
Yes, you were.
100%.
Taking all of the breaths.
I would say my longest session in the gym now is on Saturdays and Sundays, because it's normally just you and I in here, and we're literally just shooting the shit, talking anime, talking comic books, whatever it is.
Well, and slow playing the workout.
Yeah.
Like I might be lifting heavier those days because I actually have time, and so I'm taking longer breaks.
It's the weekend, so normally I don't have a whole lot going on, but Monday through Friday, I'm normally getting my workout done these days in an hour. Now mine's significantly reduced because of the injury and still recovering.
Yep.
But nonetheless, like, you can't tell me you can't find 35, 45, 50 minutes in your day to just get moving.
Look at your phone log.
Literally. We're all guilty of that, right?
I mean, if you look at your phone log and your, data usage, or what do they call it, your screen time usage was up 6%, well, you don't really have a rational reasoning of I don't have time.
I use that same thought process when I'm on vacation, right? Like,
yeah.
Hey, I know I'm on vacation. I'm going to be here from Monday through Friday, and I know that the kids are going to want to, like, for instance, going to go to the ocean. They want to spend 4 or 5 hours at the beach, right? That's what they want to do. Then they want to go get some lunch, whatever. I know I have time picked out for that already, where I'm going to go get a workout in, right?
Or you make time. You make time.
So that's my non-negotiable.
If I've got to be at MegaCon at 10 a.m. and I still want to eat breakfast, and I went with my cousin, he was doing cosplay, and I want to make time for those things and be there at a specific time, I'm getting up early.
Yeah.
I was up at 6 a.m. We went, and my cousin went with me. I mean, he's been trying to get his stuff together. So we hit a 45-minute workout. We went straight to breakfast right after that. Got showered up. And yeah, we might have been late to getting there by 20, 30 minutes. But, it's also a place that has 40,000 people a day at it. Trying to just get your Uber to get close enough to where you can get out and not have to walk 12 miles is hard enough there, because there's, an influx of traffic there now. Yep. So it's all about pre-planning, man. We always talk about preparedness, and I think for average people, I think preparedness is even more so important than someone who's bodybuilding, than someone who's competing, right? Because they're dialed in, they're locked in. They know, hey man, if I fall off this, I'm not going to be ready for showtime.
Yep.
Well, for the average person, there's no showtime for us. So I've just got to be prepared. Otherwise, if I'm not prepared food-wise, I'm reaching for whatever's there when I'm hungry. And I'm going to eat all of it because I'm hungry.
Yeah.
Right? If I'm not prepared packing-wise, right? If I don't have the right clothes, well, I guess I'm just going to have to figure it out then, right?
We talk about this every week when I have a fridge in my office, right?
Yeah.
And you can tell when I didn't go meal prep on Sunday.
Yep.
Be like, Jeff, what happened on Monday? You got fucking 900 grams of carbs. I'm like, yeah.
Well, let's talk about that aspect of traveling. Because for me, it's a little different, but still the same in a way, because I usually fly places.
Yep.
I want to get there as quickly as possible, enjoy the time I have there, and get back.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of mediated or mitigated to airport food. Whereas you drive a lot of the time.
And it's because I have a large family, right? So I'm going to put my GoFundMe and the link down below in case you guys would like to see us fly more often. You can sponsor me.
Right. For the 3 daughters and the dogs and the...
Yeah, and the wife. But yeah, no, you're 100%, man. So, like, we've been driving out to Arizona now for 7-8 years. We've been driving down to Gulf Shores, Miami, either Gulf Shores or Miami now for the past couple of years. And so I can tell you the first time we drove out to Arizona, I think we stopped at a fast food restaurant every time I got fuel.
Yep.
Right? Now, at that point, I was working my way up to
well over
400
pounds.
Yeah. But now, when we're getting ready to travel, we're actually pre-gaming for the travel. So whether it's protein bars, it's weighing out serving sizes of food.
Yep.
Right? So I don't just open up a bag of peanuts, and I'm just eating
So
all
let me
of it,
throw a
right?
curveball at you. Let's say you don't have that. Right? Because the biggest myth is that when you stop, there's nothing quote unquote healthy to grab, right? Let's say you're really hungry when you started that trip and you ate all those snacks initially.
Yep.
You didn't really pack enough, right? Is there a way to stop at a gas station and still get something that's halfway decent, that's not just junk food.
I can literally think of only one time where I haven't. I would say in the last 3 years since I really started to dial this in, there's only been one time where I've stopped and the gas station didn't have anything that I felt that was going to better me, right? And it was in BFG, Arizona, outside of Payson, Arizona. Other than that, I would say always, whether it's a protein.
Well, think about it this way. You said that place had nothing.
Yep.
Did they have beef jerky?
They did, but I was trying to watch the sugar content, right? And I couldn't get a jerky that didn't have added sugar.
Would there be more added sugar in beef jerky or a candy bar?
Oh, definitely the candy bar, right?
So what I'm trying to get to here is we say there is no healthy food if I stop at a gas station. There might not be the most healthy food, but there's always a healthier option.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? I could circumvent to, is there 3 grams of added sugar to that teriyaki beef jerky? Sure.
Teriyaki is a terrible flavor,
but
we'll go past that.
I could also go get that candy bar that's 46 grams of added sugar.
No, I think when I've looked at it when we've traveled is I'm always looking at, like, I shouldn't say always. It's when I'm saying always, I'm referencing the last 4 years where I really started to dive into my healthier lifestyle. I've always looking for something that's a higher protein, maybe a less carb, just because do you need carbs? Absolutely. But when I'm sitting on my ass for 6 hours at a time, like, I don't want to just fill myself full of carbs. If I can get my protein and really maybe try to curb that hunger, that's where I've looked at. And I would say you take out that one outlier of a gas station, and I've got probably 80,000 miles in the country in the last 4 years. So traveling 80,000 miles, take out one gas station, I have found something that will do it for me.
Found something that'll work.
Right? Whether it's like, okay, you know what? I know that I don't necessarily want to eat that brat, but if I get the brat, I don't eat the bun or eat a little bit of the bun, I'm going to get my protein, get a little carb. It's going to satiate me for a little bit.
Well, and keeping it level, you do still need fuel.
Absolutely.
You still have to, when you're trapped, because you got to stay awake.
Ah, man.
You got to stay awake.
Caffeine,
And you can do that.
You could.
You can do that.
Yeah.
However, at some point, you're going to need some of that carbohydrate to get in there and start some coal burning and get some energy going. So, I mean, that's what I mean. Like, no matter where we go, no matter what we do, there's always a way to figure it out. You sent me something on Instagram, actually, a week ago. It was the fitness van, the mobile fitness van.
That thing is awesome.
Pretty sick. I'm not going to lie. Like, if I were a road tripper, I am not. I'm not a camper. I'm not a road tripper. I don't like it. I like to eat indoors where there's no bugs. But if I were a road tripper, dude, that would be so legit.
Yeah.
Because then I don't have to go anywhere. I don't care if I'm just in a random parking lot. You pull the rack out, you pull some weights out, and you go to town.
It was awesome.
And someone starts looking at you crazy, you just say, yeah, fuck it, I'm doing what I'm doing anyway.
Get my lift in, man.
I'm getting my lift in. So I think that, again, to kind of go through the steps, you have to have your non-negotiables. You have to be willing to be prepared before you leave. Look up your hotel. What does the gym have, right? Now, I've been across the country, but I've had clients that have been across the world. I can tell you hands down, I've seen some pictures of some hotel gyms where I'm like, that's not a hotel gym. That's a gym. That's half a city block. Like, that's not a hotel gym. Hotel gym is one corridor room the size of this office.
Yeah.
I say that because one of my clients showed me one from Dubai. I'm like, that's not a hotel gym, bro. That's a gym. There's 74 treadmills in there. There's weight racks. There's barbells. There's dumbbells. There's cable machines. That's a gym.
You can buy a membership.
Yeah, like you can literally just work out there. But you have to figure out these things before you travel.
Yeah.
And I feel like what happens for the most part for average people is they don't prepare for these things. They don't figure out where the gyms are if there's not one in the hotel gym that is sufficient enough to do what they want to do.
Yeah.
For me, most hotel gyms at where I'm at now and what I'm trying to accomplish in fitness, they just aren't enough for me. The weights aren't heavy enough, or they don't have things that I need to do. Like most hotel gyms don't have cable machines. They just don't. They have dumbbells. Well, I use dumbbells for a lot of things, but for me to get the workouts that I like to do, I need a cable machine.
Yeah.
So I'm probably just calling a place that's local, say, hey man, I'm gonna drop in for a week. What's it cost?
Yeah.
Sometimes it's a t-shirt. Hey man, just buy a $20 t-shirt. You can come all week.
Sweet.
Cool, man. No problem. So I think that's the first effect. You have to be prepared for that travel. Because ultimately, life is going to happen. And the moment you're not prepared, you're going to kind of falter on whatever your current journey is.
Yeah. And I look at it from a holistic, not just my fitness, but just life in general. I would say when we started putting non-negotiables out there, I also started saving a lot of money.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I've been on vacations with really good friends where we literally have eaten out for every meal. And then in the last couple of years, like, hey, we'll pick a meal, right? Or a couple.
Yeah.
We'll do.
And splurge a bit.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
But I think not only does it set up my mindset and even my wife's mindset for, hey, we're going to work out during this. All right, I'm going to work out. This is what I need to do. Are you going to work out? No, I'm just going to get my steps in. Okay, so non-negotiable. What are we doing for meals?
Yeah.
Right?
Which is why Airbnbs are great.
Yeah, and it just gives us a plan, a path forward, and so like it just makes life that I'm not stressing about vacation. Like, oh man, I missed this workout. Oh man, I ate this.
Yeah.
It's like, no, this is what I put forward for myself, and I'm good to go.
And I actually love like the Airbnb kind of thing now too, because then I have my own kitchen.
Yep.
I've got my own area. Like if I want to order out, I can. But if also I just want to run down to the local store and grab some things just to cook, I can also just do that.
Yeah.
I'm not stuck. And I think that's the thing. In 2024, we're not stuck on I just have to eat what's available, right? I don't have to just go to the hotel restaurant. I don't just have to go to the gas station. Like, no, there's a grocery store 4 blocks away. I can go pick up some stuff, stock my Airbnb, and cook, right? Now, I get it. When you go on vacation, the first thing you're not thinking about is, well, I don't really want to cook for myself. I'm on vacation. This is what I do on a normal basis. But that also helps you mediate your nutrition and keep things in your control as opposed to somebody else's control. You don't know how the restaurant cooks. You don't know what they're cooking with.
Yeah.
It could be, a bunch of butter, lard. I mean, you just don't know.
Yeah, we're not going to chain places, right? We're going to normally one-off places where they're not listing any of their ingredients on their meals. So
most of these places aren't listing their calories on their meals.
You're getting what you get. And now, don't get me wrong, it's delicious, right? But to your point at the Airbnb, I'm in control.
I'm in control. I can control that meal. I can just get some eggs. I can just do whatever. And actually, there's some really cool Airbnbs out there. I went to one in Minneapolis. I wish I could remember the gentleman's name who we got it from. It was basically the basement of their house that they decked out with cameras and technology. And but the cool thing about it was it had a sauna for guest use. And I'm like, dude, this is the most badass thing ever. Dude, I was in that thing like 3 times a day. Was that probably too much? Absolutely. But I had a sauna. I don't have a sauna at home.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, babe, turn it on the sauna. Cranked it on. It takes 30 minutes to warm up. I'm in there sweating it out. But there's ways to find really cool things to do that don't necessarily have to be traditional fitness either.
Yeah.
It can just be something that, just get your body moving.
Dude, we're going to be down in Gulf Shores, and it's literally going to be walking up and down the beach.
Yeah.
Right? Now, when you're walking in hard-packed sand, it's simple. It's like walking on a little bit of grass, right?
Loose-packed sand.
When you're walking on loose-packed sand, it's a whole different thing. And so, like, that's going to be part of the non-negotiables. Like, I want to do at least 5 miles, right? Whatever.
Yeah. And you can do some push-ups in that sand. And
we might be doing some push-ups.
Some calisthenics. I mean, we could just get after it here.
We're going to be finding out on March 5th.
You're going to be finding out. I mean, it's only a couple weeks away.
Yeah,
so
3 weeks away.
We'll figure it out, man. But no, and that's the thing, man. I think, when we're talking about traveling, there's a multitude of things that can happen during travel. It happened to me. I mean, when I came back from Florida, what happened that Monday?
Oh, dude, you got rerouted to everywhere.
Dude, I had to change a 1-stop flight to a 2-stop flight. I went from getting home at 4:30 in the afternoon, where I could still plan for my day, to getting home at 10 p.m.
Yep.
That day was wasted. I spent that day in the airport going over housing offers for my house because we were selling our house. So that was super fun. That was not enjoyable. So, but again, had I not at least in my mind pivoted as soon as I saw those messages and knew I had to change those flights, if I hadn't pivoted in my head and immediately went, you know what? When I get to the airport or before I get to the airport, I got to get some high protein snacks in my bag
to
have, I wouldn't have been as well off. right? Because I just wouldn't have been prepared.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that's what you got to do. I mean, you just got to always be thinking 10 steps ahead, especially if you're on a real journey, man. If you're on a real journey of health and getting yourself eating right and feeling right and doing right, you've got to go through the steps, man. You can't skip stuff just because it's easy to. Because let's face it, it's easy.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah, I echo that, man. I mean, like you said, we're going to be traveling, and so we're already talking about, all right, if we're going to drive straight through, it's only, I say this as a typical Midwestern, it's only 14 hours, right? We can do it in a day.
He says typical Midwesterner. I was born here, and I have never said that a day in my life because that sounds stupid.
I know. It's so much fun. But we're already talking about, all right, if we're going to stop, this is where we're going to stop at. But if we're not, this is what we're planning for meals for the day, especially in travel, because it's so easy to just get off the interstate. You can just run through the McDonald's or Taco Bell or wherever it is, right? But
and not to say you can't do that.
You absolutely can. I am not going to, right? Like, I've got, like you were just saying, for my fitness goal and my lifestyle, like, I am still working towards something, right? And I don't want to hinder it just because something was simple.
Absolutely.
It was easy.
Because it was easy.
You being unhealthy, and there's probably a little bit of drama to this, but being unhealthy is easy. I'm sorry. And let me rephrase that. Being unhealthy where you're just adding on weight was easy for me. Not for everybody. For me, it was easy for me to get to where I was.
So I'm gonna add a kink in your chain there.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna start with the statement, you choose your hard.
Yeah.
Okay? It's hard to be healthy. But it's also hard to be unhealthy. Right? It's hard to have constant medical visits. It's hard to be constantly given new medications and be ravishing your body, especially when you don't really know what to do. You're just taking everything at face value, right? So you choose your hard, right? I wouldn't imagine it's actually easy to be unhealthy. And that's not to say that they're not working to get to that. That's what we consider hard, right?
Yeah.
Because it's hard to lift weights. It's hard to do this. But I think it's hard at some point when you just don't know the way out. And so you choose your hard.
Yeah.
I could choose to go work really hard for an hour, meal prep, make sure I'm prepared, do all those things, or phone it in, man, and just not do any of it. Yes. And my life is going to be pretty hard because I'm going to have constant medical visits. I'm going to have dwindling health, and probably at some point I'm going to die earlier than later.
So I don't disagree with that thought process, but where I say that it's easy to be unhealthy, I'm primarily talking about it from a weight perspective, right?
Okay.
So think about it. What's easier for you to do, Chad? Is it easier for you to order food to the house, or is it easier for you to meal prep everything and weigh it out, right? For sure. For the average person, it's easier to order it to the house, right?
Yeah.
So I agree that life becomes hard the easier you make it, though. And what I mean by that statement is, if I choose the easy way out,
I make life really hard.
Man, I'm not going to go to the gym anymore. I'm just going to eat whatever the hell I want. I'm not going to count my calories. That's easy. But now I've significantly made life harder. So that's what I mean by that statement, because I do agree, because I was that person, right?
Yeah.
I made life extremely difficult. I couldn't, not that I like running, but I couldn't chase the girls around. I couldn't run, right? Couldn't chase the dogs
even
around.
walking.
I could barely walk. Going up and down stairs was difficult. None of my clothes fit. So that aspect was hard. The eating aspect was easy.
Yeah.
I ate whatever I wanted. Didn't give a shit.
And I'm gonna touch on that real quick too, though. And then we'll kind of get into wrapping up here. But I think that's the thing, though, too. Though you could eat whatever you wanted, and I think that's what people think about people that are health conscious, that they can't. Jeff, I eat whatever I want, but I have more muscle mass on my body, so I don't have to worry about it as much. Yep. I generally I work so hard so that I can eat whatever I want.
Yeah.
And it doesn't really affect me. My weight fluctuates between 3 and 4 pounds ever. I never really gain or lose more than that. And I'm okay with that. I'm right in the pocket of where I need to be. Now, there's times of the year I go way clean with eating, and there's times that I go, you know what, man? I just want to live a little bit, So yeah, I'm going to eat the same lunch every day. I'm going to eat the same breakfast every day. But you know what? For after dinner, honey, let's go grab some ice cream. Why? Because it's one day.
Yeah.
I'm not going to eat ice cream every day, but one day. So I think that's the big common misconception too. You know, when traveling, when life happens, when whatever, is like that we can't, for lack of a better term, splurge a little bit.
Yeah.
You can. I mean, it's not, you just have to make sure you're, you know, not eating 10,000 calories every day of the week.
So that's what
and then not moving.
Right. It wasn't necessarily eat whatever I want. It was, I'm going to eat whatever I want. And I'm going to eat all of it.
Yeah.
Right. So it was, I mean, I would probably be extremely ashamed if I tracked my calories for an average day pre-2019. Because I would imagine I was probably somewhere between 5,000 and 6,000 calories. And I wasn't powerlifting. I wasn't moving. I wasn't bodybuilding. I wasn't doing anything that needed.
And I would imagine you probably couldn't eat that volume of food now. It'd probably make you sick.
I probably could eat a day worth of that food, and I would feel like shit.
You feel terrible.
Like the next day, everything would hurt. Everything would just be swollen. Like I wouldn't feel great.
For me, it always goes right to my stomach. Yeah. It gets to the stomach, and I'm like, man, I don't feel good.
I mean, even being on vacation recently and tracking my meals, I think I've cut my calories down to 2,250, and I think there was one day where I was like figuring out, and I was like 2,900, and I remember going to the gym with Ed the next morning. I'm like, dude, I feel like shit. Like this is just bad. And he's like, well, I'm gonna do a quick workout, and I'm gonna walk afterwards. I said, good, because I need to do that too, right?
Yeah.
Because like they just.
And again, there's camaraderie in that.
Yeah.
You know, it's the reason why we walk into the gym and we do the things that we do. A lot of it's for the community. We like to see other people doing exactly what we're doing, which is what we're trying to build here. Yeah. You know, is all like-minded people just trying to all come together from different age groups for the same ideal goal, which is health. So I think that's, if you take away anything from anything, everybody walking into the door should be focused on health. Yeah. Nobody, whether they're 15 or they're 75, we're all here for the same reason.
And everybody here does a pretty good job of pushing each other too, right? So
absolutely.
That's why
we just tend to do it in a more funny way.
Normally.
You know, because it's funnier than being super serious all the time, because that sucks.
Yeah,
like,
no.
I don't like being super serious with clients because it sucks. Like, I don't like having to scold adults, especially ones that are older than me. Like, it makes me feel really bad, actually. I don't like it.
Yeah.
So I try to do it in funnier ways so that it's not like, I'm like, wow, so you ate like an entire asshole this weekend. That's cool. You know, instead of being like, well, you know, Cheryl, you should have really compacted those calories down, and I'm really disappointed in you.
You had a new member start a couple weeks ago, and they were just doing their first bodyweight workout, and they were literally trying to do push-ups back in the corner where they were, like, hidden.
Yeah.
And you're like, hey, come on in the middle. I said, yeah, we all want to see you struggle because we do it too. Like,
yeah, you don't get to hide, man. What are you doing,
man? Like, we're gonna make fun of you, so when the rest of us mess up, you can make fun of us. That's just how it works.
Yeah,
you know.
I also had to yell at him about leaving bars on the floor. I'm like, can we not leave fucking trip hazards all over the floor? Yeah, it is my insurance ultimately, but let's not do that. Like. But no, in all seriousness, you know, you got to be prepared. And travel, it's ultimately the most important thing to benefit your health is to be prepared. Mm-hmm. If you do that, you'll stay succeeding and you'll stay right where you need to be.
Yeah.
And where you need to be is where you want to be. Right?
Yeah.
Where you need to be is where you want to be, because I have a goal. That's my want. Where I want to be is where I need to be. So if I'm prepared, I'm there. If I'm not prepared, the whole bag of chips is going down. It's just going to happen.
I tell you what, we're going to cut this one because that's a great transition into what we're going to be talking about here very shortly in the near future.
And what's that, Jeff?
Well, I think if you stick around for a little bit after this show here, we're going to add in a couple clips maybe. Chad's been working on some things, right? I'm not going to steal your thunder.
Yeah.
But
we got some things in the wings here.
Don't be saying we. Some of us are just we're behind you, right? But this is all on you, and we're just here to lift you up, brother.
Hey, man, you know you can't be anywhere without your team. So
amen. But
you know the Bulls might have had Michael Jordan, but you know they also had Pippen, Rodman, and all those other guys too, helping them get to where they were. So. No, there's definitely some things coming that I'm super excited for, that I'm super stressed for as well. You might see a little bit more circles under my eyes these next couple podcasts, but that's okay. We're going to grind it out. We're going to get it done.
Absolutely.
Cool. So on that note, guys, thanks for joining us for the Konquer Fit Podcast, episode 10. Holy shit.
Yep.
If you followed along this long, we really appreciate it, guys. Please like, share, or follow. And also we have our links at the bottom, I believe.
Yep.
So if you want to give us a follow as well and contact us and, chat with us about maybe something you'd like to see on the show, we'd love to hear it. Other than that, guys, keep grinding, keep doing it, keep killing it, keep doing it safely. And we'll see you next time.
And remember, folks, just don't suck.
Bow.